Welcome to Crest in partnership with Elusive. Producer Dodd here again, and we're really stoked to have finally gotten this one together. We wanted to interview Llywelyn Sponge Williams for ages, but what with him being a world champion and all, getting Rob, Tom or any of the others into the same place as him has been a bit of an ongoing project. But it all came together at the Wave in Bristol a few weeks ago when Llywelyn was having a quiet evening before day 2 of the Welsh Parasurfing Championships, which of course he won. So here's Tom and Steve White catching up with Sponge for an absolute must-hear. It's Wales' first ever world champion and he's talking to Crest. Enjoy!
Noswaith dda a llongyfarchiadau mawr. Llywelyn, stoked to have you on.
Diolch yn fawr iawn, neis bod yma.
Yeah, ti hefyd. And yeah, got to start with a massive llongyfarchiadau mawr because momentous. This is, you are Wales' first surfing world champion.
Apparently so, yeah.
I don't know. Sorry, that's like literally the worst question to ever ask someone in terms of getting them to say something, because he's like, but what can you say to that? But you don't need to say anything to it, do you?
No, apparently so. So I won the Worlds, and then I got told I was the first ever Welsh world champion in surfing, and I was like, no way. And then a few weeks before I went to the Worlds, I was staying with Llywelyn Williams in France, and he was on the road to be in that, and I'm like, oh my god, that was back in the 80s, and I was gone all that time, and then I became the first Worlds, and I'm like, this is crazy how everything just works.
Yeah.
Strange.
And congratulations, llongyfarchiadau, epic. It's an achievement. It's not just like an achievement with no sort of equal, really. It's history making, and it's probably, apart from yourself possibly repeating it, it's a way down the line really before we'll see something like that again. So it's really nice for us to be able to share that moment and have you here, and for you to sort of enjoy it, dine out on it, and and enjoy the year. We're here, of course, today at the Welsh. We're now calling it
Parasurfing Championship.
Yeah, so last year it was the adaptive.
It was the adaptive, yeah. But because of this year, we find out end of this year if we make it to the Paralympics. So every event changes it from adaptive to para.
To para, yeah.
To kind of
makes perfect sense.
Make it ready for it. So.
And it's gone pretty well. There's been, flying in your heat today, blowing up 7s. We're pushing towards the 8s. Sam Bleakley and I on the comms were like expecting the judges to go 8 on that 360 you did, but you were a bit. I did say to Sam, I was like, I think he's going to be thinking about how he can do that 360 a bit better. And
I'm thinking about how I'm going to do it better tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't feel. It felt like I did the first bottom turn. It felt good, and then as I was like rotating the board at the top, I kind of stalled.
Yeah.
From moving the weight to my knees, so it kind of felt slow to come back into the wave, but I pulled it off. So that's what I wanted to do.
I just love the analysis you've got there of your own surfing. I suppose that is what makes that kind of world champion. We're joined as well. I got to say a big thanks. We're joined by Steve White, who's the fella who does all the WSF press and socials, and writer. Yeah. What else are you? A gentleman, thief, a scholar, and a rogue? Doing the locomotion like Kylie Minogue?
All those things. None of those things altogether, more or less.
You're going to pick Llywelyn's brains a little bit as well.
Yes.
Let's go back first of all, right, to the year before, which I know has been a painful topic, but now it's no longer because you put that ghost to bed. So you should really have been world champion in 2021.
Oh god, terrible.
But for an interference.
Yeah. I'm becoming known for my interference calls, which is bad. But yeah, I don't know, from surfing where I surf, it's like busy and you get them on wave, it's like, oh, sick, and everyone's like, oh yeah, okay. But then learning how to be in a competition and seeing how it all works, and the priority board, like Red was in priority, he went for a wave, Yellow was in priority, thought he went for a wave, and I paddled back out and I saw this wave of the day coming in, so I went for that, did my bottom turn and looked up and Yellow was dropping in, and I was like, oh no. I instantly knew. There's a picture of me looking at him like, no.
And
Yeah.
So it was to do with the priority board really, rather than
in the last 3 minutes.
Okay.
So through the whole comp, the heats were 20 minutes and then the finals were 25. Then in the last 3 minutes I had an interference.
So you got 22 minutes of the way towards 2 minutes more.
I didn't have to go for the wave.
You didn't need it.
Didn't need it. So
you sound like you still regret that.
Yeah, it was painful.
You went and won it the year after, though. So do you sort of see it as part of that kind of everything happens for a reason?
Like I say, everything happens for a reason, and I think having that in 2001, it pushed me more to not do it again, kind of thing, and it made me help my surfing as well. And Sarah takes all the videos of me in every condition at home, so I analyse everything and kind of I get my friends to drop in on me, and I kind of like.
Do you?
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I kind of learn how to turn off. Like we were in Costa Rica, and I was on a wave, and then someone dropped in probably about 30 metres away from me, but because I turned up the wave, I still had an interference call. So if you're on a wave and you turn up the wave, you don't like avoid it.
Yeah.
So you need to straighten out and get in the white water to avoid the interference, apparently.
Yeah.
So that's another learning curve. So, yeah.
But the level of preparation that I see you putting into your surfing now this year, some of which we'll go on to talk about shortly, I wonder whether, with hindsight now, that pain of 2021 is why you're starting to become such a kind of tight act now, or
yeah.
Or is it just there's nowhere around it?
It's a huge push. It's always in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Like the interference. Like I've had a few interference calls, which is annoying. And I'm like, no way that was interference. But you watch it back on video and you're like, yeah, it was. So I had one in Spain. I was going along the wave and I went up for a top turn and this guy was paddling in, and I didn't even think about priority. I just went, just ride the wave, because like when I'm on the wave, I just like, this is what. Well, I'm there to ride the wave, so I'm like, I don't think about anything else.
Yeah.
But I see people paddling in, I just like do like a little pump and then take it from where they're paddling in, and it's just buggers up my surfing, really.
Yeah, fair point.
Were there any other ways that you sort of adapted your training or your approach to contest surfing in the wake of that sort of fateful interference call? You mentioned the sort of analysis that you were doing. Yeah,
so for the last 3 years, Sarah's been every conditions: rain, hail, snow, blazing heat in Indonesia. They're burning one side of her body, just filming me. I'm like, why don't you just move 10 metres to the shade? I'm like, in case I miss a wave. Like, literally, she'll burn one side of her body.
Yeah.
And she'll be like, I'm just standing here for hours. I'm like, there's shade 10 metres away. And she's like, no, I couldn't miss it.
Yeah.
But watching myself surf and looking like, why did I do that there? Why I could have done that turn there, could have done this. It's helped loads. So like video analysis, it's great.
Sure. So it helped you sort of really compartmentalise each sort of manoeuvre and
definitely. And then at home now when I'm surfing with my friends, like every time I'm surfing with you, it feels like we're in a comp, and it's like, we're not, we're just free surfing, but it's like, got to charge it every wave instead of just like being laid back and
you're training.
I've got 20 minutes, so I'll go in, I've got 20 minutes, and then I'll sit back for like 5 minutes, and then I'm like 20 minutes again.
Definitely.
Animal clothing is designed for adrenaline seekers, surfers and adventurers. Discover organic cotton t-shirts, hoodies and recycled board shorts, as well as wetsuits, changing robes and dry bags for long days at the beach. Explore the full collection at animal.co.uk or visit one of our animal stores.
So when, I guess, going through that training, going through those processes, and we fast forward to the next year in 2022, how much did you feel the pressure of wanting to right those wrongs of the previous year? Because of
the video analysis and the amount I've surfed, I was confident. And then I had, but through the Welsh Surfing Federation, I had 2 coaching lessons with Llŷn Walker from South Africa, the Olympic coach, and I've never been coached before, so I saw him and he was like, I've never taught anyone with a disability, and I'm like, well, I've never been coached. So we were like, how are we going to do this? So it's like, okay, you tell me how you surf, and I'll tell you how I think you should do it, kind of thing. So like we bounced off each other. It was a new thing for both of us.
Olympic coach, because Llywelyn, friend of the show, we had him on just after Leo Gatzer had qualified for the Tokyo Olympics, and pretty interesting bit of insight.
So we were both like, this is new. And it was like, he told me, it was like, just watching videos, it's like, because you're surfing, you've got your 2 feet obviously, and surfers always move their feet, where before I kept my knee on one side of the board and used my hand on the right rail instead of my knee, and he said, why don't you just move your knee to that side, depending which way I go for the top turn. So if I go left, my knee will be on the left side of the board and pulling the right rail up. And then as I do a top turn, I switch rails. But I used to keep my knee on the left.
Right.
And then he told me just move it to this side.
Wow.
So that happened, and then the board just literally just goes
Ping.
straight rail.
Oh wow. Yeah. Oh, nice job, Lou.
I remember speaking to you after I think earlier in the year, earlier in 2023, and I asked you about how did you feel going into the World Champs at Pismo, and you said I felt really good. I changed some things, and I was set. My targets were set on victory, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
And there was a really refreshing competitive frankness to your attitude. You're like, I tweet these things. You were quite objective about the fact you were going to get the win, which was fantastic, and that actually came. So how did it feel when all those pieces came together and you smashed it?
Felt really good. Again with Llywelyn Walker, he was like, to be a champion you need to write down everywhere, just everything you think, write down, gotta be a world champion, do all this, boom. So in my head I was like, okay, I want to be a world champion, and it just happened. Then I had like 4 or 5 heats and I won all of them in the final, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
So
Fantastic.
yeah, it's mental, because I never got into being coached, because I went skiing and I had a ski instructor with 2 legs trying to tell me how to do it on 1 leg, and I was like, well, you have no idea. I can't physically do what you're doing. He's like, I'll take 1 ski off and I'll do it on 1, and it's like, well, no,
That doesn't really work either. No.
So yeah, just to have them little insights of a coach perspective of how I should do stuff, it's just drill everything into my head, and I'd look at how people bodyboard, how people kneeboard, and how people surf on 2 legs. So I'm trying to find ways I can put them all together to.
It's quite creative, really, then, isn't it? Yeah.
So it's crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, and then I suppose opponents might not necessarily be dealing with exactly the same situation themselves either. So you can't really necessarily. You can fire yourself off an opponent in terms of their scores, but not necessarily in terms of their style or their approach.
Yeah, exactly, because everyone's different. Everyone's got different disability. Everyone's able to do one thing better than the other, and stuff like that, different amputation levels. Yeah. So yeah, it's all just we're all learning off each other.
Wow.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Very much so.
The world title then. Do you remember the horn blowing? Or is it a bit of a blur?
So again, it was the last minute where I caught a wave. I had the win, and then Mono Stewart from Australia caught one in the last minute. So I was out back, and the horn went, and I was like, no, what's happening? And I was asking Caleb from South Africa on the pier, and I was like, what are the scores? And he was like, I don't know. So I was standing out back, I was like,
is it slipping away?
Have I got it? As he just beat him in the last minute. And I was like, no. And then I came in the beach, and then they went, poof, and Sarah went nuts, and everyone had the flags and stuff. So I was like, yes. It was an amazing feeling. It's kind of a blank time, but it's like when it hit me, I'm like, poof. Then
when did it feel best? Like then, or was it like that evening, that week, getting home? Now,
felt good then in the car park. We had an RV in the car park, so we put the Welsh anthem on that. Danny O'Malley and everything on blazing on the speakers outside, and it was like, yes, having a beer. It was like, yes, we've done it. Yeah. Calling everyone at home, calling family and stuff, and they were like, unbelievable. Yeah. We've done it.
We were out the water.
Yeah.
Did things change for you then when you got back to Wales?
I didn't go back to Wales for 3-4 months after that. So yeah, we went travelling after that. After the Worlds, we went to Hawaii for the Hawaiian Championships in Haleiwa.
Yeah.
And then I won that one. And then we went from there to Indo for 3 months. It was amazing, just surfing every day.
Was it Lombok you went to in Indonesia?
I went to Lombok, so I went to Bali, we go to Uluwatu.
Yeah.
Everything. Uluwatu is just, everything's there. You got bars, food, restaurants, amazing surf.
I think it's the most magical place on earth for surf.
Oh,
that Bucket Peninsula.
Yeah.
There's nowhere like it.
No, it's amazing. Like the locals there, I've been there every year for 10 years, so I've kind of known like the local people, and every time I go back, they're like, oh my god, you're back again. And I'm like, yeah. And they couldn't do too much to help you. You know, you get there, like, what do you need? Do you need a taxi? Do you need a boat? Blah blah blah. It's like it's just amazing. And then we went from there to Lombok. Waited there for swell for like 5 days. It was like, there's swell coming. because I had another friend there from Germany that has one leg. So he was like, oh, the swell coming. So we waited there for 5 days, and the swell was like, oh, it's coming tomorrow. And he was like, it went on for like 8 days, and the swell came, lasted 2 days, and then we went, okay, where are we going now? So we went to the Mentawais. Unbelievable. Like, it's clearest water, amazing waves, nothing else to do there. Like absolutely nothing. So you had an Airbnb, they give you 3 meals a day, open the window, open the curtains in the morning, just beautiful right-hander barrel on the reef, and it was like, wow. Yeah.
And so that's your celebration.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a little bit of an element as well, like you've won the world title, so it's like the king is touring his domain.
Yeah.
Or was that more like when you come back to Wales?
No, I had a few messages off a few friends like, you actually live in a world champion kind of life now, aren't you?
Feasting in the halls of the great.
Yeah, it was perfectly well, because Sarah took the year off just before the Worlds to concentrate on this. Then I started off her year off work winning the Worlds, and then just travelled and surfed, and yeah, it's been a really good year.
But is it a real buzz then when you get back to Wales? You must have been, really looking forward. You talked about playing that Welsh national anthem in the car, in the RV after winning. I think of Tra Môr and Vir i'r Bir Hoff Bai, while the sea is a lovely blue wall around the homeland. Well, that stuff means something to us, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
And you get home to Wales, and then it's like.
And it's the only anthem, I think, which has that powerful feeling. Yeah. When someone plays it, everyone's like, whoa.
The hiraeth.
Yeah. It's like, it's a powerful song.
And so you're off the plane, you're in Wales, and then it's like that kind of
my mum and my
euphoria kicks in.
stepdad picked me up, and they're like, yes, Welsh flags up in the airport, and I'm like, ooh.
Interviews and microphones and all that.
No, it was none of that. I think it took too long, really, because I was away for that long. It would, if I went home straight away, it probably would have been different, because I was trying to do interviews and stuff online, but I was 12-hour different, so it never worked, kind of thing.
Yeah, it did take a while to organise.
I talked to you when I was in Indonesia, didn't I? Yeah. I was in Uluwatu watching the sunset, and I was like, he was asking me a question. He was like, "I'm just watching this now. I'm gonna be," and he was like, "That's amazing."
I'm in Penclough in the rain. Thanks for that. Cool. Yeah. So that did you find your besides the rightly enjoying yourself on the perfect waves during those travels? Was it a part of you that got back down into the training mentality, or a part of you that changed as a competitor as a result of that victory?
Yeah, straight back into training and improving. So I've been changing my boards. So I've been on standard surfboards for years. Yeah. And then I went to the Worlds in 2019, I think it was, just before COVID. Yeah. And I went to the Bird Surf Shed in California, and was like, "Oh, can I try a few boards?" And I don't know if you've been there. It's literally like a farm shed with loads of classic surfboards, and the kneeboard on Spoon, the actual Spoon kneeboard was on the roof. He was like, "Pick whatever you want." And I looked at that one. I went, "There was a yellow Ramonski one next to it. I'm gonna take that one." So he gave me 4. I literally rode the Ramonski one with glassed-in twin fins, and I was like, "What a game changer!"
Glassed-in fins are gorgeous, aren't they?
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's only because we have to go on planes that we don't have American.
Yeah. And then, I took it back after the comp. I messaged him like, "Thank you very much for that. We got 4 more days left, so I'm going to head to Vegas." And he's like, "Oh, you can have the board as a gift." And I was like, "Oh, no, I've already dropped it off." He was like, "Don't worry about it. We'll sort it out." And Surfability Ben was there. So I told Ben, "Can you go pick this up?" So Ben flew it home to me. And I was riding that for probably 2 years. And then I was like, it started falling apart. Well, I was in Pismo that first year.
We got a bit of the crew from the contest passing by here, getting some of their stuff, guys. You crack on, guys. Don't mind us. It's all right. We're at the wave. We're in one of the pods, being used as part of the event. Sorry, go on. Yeah, carry on. So you were on those boards.
Yeah, so I had that for 2 years, and then I was in Pismo. The first year I was in Pismo. I was really comfortable on it. I was going left towards the pier, and this wave they normally fade out just before the pier because the water gets deeper. This wave didn't, and they just pushed me straight into a pillar, and I ditched my board, and then I got back on my board, and the fin was literally dangling,
The glass tin
dangling there with a bit of glass. And I was like, I got to go in now. Silly, I just didn't grab the fin and hold it.
Did it fall off?
Yeah, I got to the beach and the fin was gone. I was like, oh, lost it.
It's probably home to some little Pismo crab on the bottom.
Yeah, loads of them. Found a shaper, and I was like, I need this tomorrow. And he was like, I don't know if I could do that. I was like, please. And he literally fixed it within 8 hours. Took him to him in the evening. He delivered it back to me at 8 a.m. and he was like, here you go, it's fixed. I was like, no way. And then I need to find. Me and Sarah went round every surf shop looking for the same fin size, and it just changed everything then.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was bad. So I popped one fin, and then it creased the whole side of the other one, and the other one was kind of popped out. So I could glass down back in, or I could take them out and put new fin plugs in. So I was like, put new fin plugs in, and then I had small. They were tiny fins. They were like small size,
Yeah.
like thruster fins, but I used them as a twinny, and the whole board changed again. So
Adapt and move on.
yeah, it was crazy. I've been buying boards. I've got like 15 boards at home of different things. I'm like, oh, try these. I'm using the same fins in every board.
Yeah.
And then I started changing fins. And I'm like, oh my god, it would have been way cheaper just to change fins from the start instead of buying
One
new boards.
surfboard, yeah.
That's the way it goes. So, how are you finding life as a professional athlete? I guess what's your training schedule like these days? How does a week look for you?
So the week look at home, it looks like I'm sat in a digger doing groundworks, and then if there is swell, especially not this time of year, obviously because it's summer. Expect last week. Was it last week or the week before? We had this.
Oh, we had a hell of a swell last week. Yeah.
24-hour swell.
Yeah.
Literally lunchtime one day, it just went. Boom.
Yeah.
And I surfed till dark. The tide got high, and it was just massive closeouts. And then surfed in the morning. By lunchtime the next day, flat.
Yeah.
Mental, innit? So.
Do you have a sympathetic foreman in so many words? And can you like just drop tools and
Yeah. So we work for it's a family company.
Fine, yeah.
And groundwork. So it's me, my dad, my granddad, and my friend.
Cool.
So yeah, my friend surfs as well. So if there's swell, I'm like, Dad, I'm going surfing. He was like, not again. I was like, don't worry, I work late. But I never end up going back to work because I'm just there till the end of the swell.
Yeah. What other challenges are there in that? Obviously, you have to balance being a professional surfer with, earning money. Don't you?
Exactly.
How does that? How do you?
Well, luckily, two years ago, I found a sponsorship, which a father and son come surf in my home break, and I was looking for sponsorship for the Welsh Adaptive Championships after the first year, and they were keen to sponsor the event, and then we had a meeting, and at the end of it, was like, I'd like to sponsor you personally as well. So he's been a huge help towards us because before, for the last 5 years, me and Sarah, everything we earned, we were pouring it straight into
the
the
business,
surfing.
yeah.
So it was like, we need to go do all this. And yeah, it's like we put a lot of effort into where we are now. So, and it's like we're doing disability surfing days. I've started a clothing brand, Hop Along, to hopefully in the future be able to sponsor other disabled people to do the events, because it was so hard to find sponsorships. So I was like, okay, if we can do something small to help other people, it might grow, and then I can be helping other disabled people to do the sport they want to do.
Now, you sit here today as a Welsh champion and a world champion, and Hawaiian champion, whatever else it is, right? That is now, well, it's probably, we hope it's not yet the pinnacle of your surfing journey, but of course, this is a surfing journey that's had many ups and downs and starts way back, in Gromithood.
Yeah.
What age were you when you first started surfing? So are you from Abersoch yourself?
Yeah, from Abersoch.
So it would have been Porthceiriad and Porthnagle, Hellsmouth and that. What age did you first start surfing?
I started with youth club, so I was probably 12 or 13.
Right.
And literally there was a big group of us from youth club after school every Thursday with Simon Turner and John Domingo. And they took out surfing, and literally me and 5 of my friends were like, this is amazing. We've been living here for 12 years and we had no idea we could do this. So yeah, we just got instantly hooked, and did it as much as I can. I went before school, went to pick up my friends on the quad bike in the early mornings to go surf, and then get the bus, go to school, skateboard from school, go surf. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like everything's just been...
So you're a frothing grommet?
Yeah, definitely.
Did you compete as a grom at all?
No, so only in the North Wales Championships once, I think it was.
Yeah.
With Eilir Davies Hughes.
Oh yeah, the brothers.
Yeah, the brothers. Yeah, everyone knows these brothers.
Yeah, they
Shredders.
shred those boys. Yeah.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, every time I went down to Hellsmouth, they were there.
Yeah.
And
They
then-
can tube ride as well, those boys. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
It is.
Eilir is unbelievable. He's
Yeah.
like,
On his backside as well. Yeah.
You look at this wave coming in, and then you see pictures of it, and it was like, no way.
Yeah.
There's no way that wave actually did that.
Yeah.
And he's just like slotted in.
He fits the tube perfectly.
Definitely.
Yeah. And any other sports?
No.
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 So you're a
Yeah.
frothing water
Yeah.
grommet.
I used to play
essentially.
rugby and stuff when I was in school, but
Yeah.
don't have the love like surfing.
And then you're surfing, you're loving life, and then of course there is this sudden massive moment of adversity.
Yeah.
And did you at that point feel like
You know, apparently I was skateboarding and then got run over by a car, and I woke up in hospital.
so you don't remember it?
Nothing.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
No. So there's a picture of me on my moped on that same day,
How old are you?
16.
Oh my god.
So there's a picture of me on that day, and I'm like, oh, do I remember it, or is it just stories that have like I've made my own story of the day? But apparently my moped broke on that day, and I took it to the garage, so I longboarded, and then next thing I know, I woke up in hospital covered in pipes and all sorts.
Oh my god.
Yeah, half my weight, skinny, terrible. But I can't remember any of it. So
Really?
when you talk to my friends and family, they get emotional about it, I'm
And
like,
you don't?
No, I have no idea. It's like I was
Yeah.
born again. It was like I had no choice. I was just there. Couldn't move. Could barely lift my head.
Yeah. And at the time, of course, no one's got any idea that these are the foothill slopes to a world. sporting icon.
exactly.
Yeah. But were there moments then when you kind of were thinking you weren't sure if you were going to surf anymore, or was it like just
When I woke up properly, all I wanted to do was surf.
really?
Yeah, so I woke up in my room and my friends had pictures of chicks in bikinis, waves, sex wax, air fresheners and the wax and stuff in my room. So I woke up to that.
They
kind
put that
of-
up around you?
Yeah, decorate my room, surf
Wow.
pictures, chicks bikinis, surf wax smell. So I was like, oh. And then I had just the drive to go surf again. So it pushed me through my physio and to get out of the hospital to just get back in the ocean. And the doctor kept saying no, because I had a massive like a bed wound on the back of my head.
Right.
So I went because they thought I broke my back. So they
kept you on
they tied me to the bed.
traction.
And all I was doing in my coma was this.
Oh my god. How long was the coma?
Huh?
How long was the coma?
No idea. So I was meant to be, my family booked Christmas dinner in intensive care.
Yeah.
I got run over in September. They booked Christmas dinner in
Oh my God.
intensive care, but I fucking made it home before Christmas.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like the nurses there and stuff, they're like, we don't even know how you did it.
Yeah.
Like weird. And then just before I woke up, I was going towards a tunnel of light, like you'd see like gateway to heaven kind of stuff. And a bald dude just came out of nowhere and just went, "Diolch am seriously." And I can remember him just pushing my chest, and I went and opened my eyes.
So you spoke about it and you say it's not your time. That's what you said.
Yeah, it's not my time
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Wow.
In Welsh, she was like,
In
then-
Welsh.
Yeah. And I told my mum about it, and then she was like, "No way." The first room I went to in Bangor Hospital is where my dad's best mate died of brain cancer,
Yeah.
and I had a bald dude, and he had 2 daughters, and he treated me like his
Oh
own
my
son.
god.
So I was like, no way. I was in the same bed,
Oh.
and I wake it up, and he just went boom, and then zoomed out, and then woke up and saw the surfing pictures and all that.
So
Wow.
this bald dude at like the pearly gates or whatever who speaks Welsh,
Yeah,
he knew something that
Yeah.
you didn't know at the time.
yeah, exactly.
And
Not
it's
your time.
probably
And I'm like, what the fuck am I here for?
it's probably what he knew, where
Yeah.
we would be now. That's
Yeah, it's mad,
amazing,
right?
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember speaking to you when we had a little chat, research chat, about this, and like it's that simple, really. You know, that is how you came from, you know, being that froth and grommet on the skateboard to being a world champion.
Yeah.
And you know, that kind of steely determination and things like that. You know, it's born of these.
And like my family, friends, and the community support of helping me around the village in my wheelchair and stuff, and pushing me. And it's like, you can get up there. Yeah. You can get up there in your wheelchair. And I was like, fine. Oh, fucking try and get up there.
Yeah.
And they just pushed me and pushed me and pushed me. So yeah, I've had the drive to do it. And then that incident in 2021, that was another kick in the ass. And I was like, come on.
Well, I've faced bigger.
yeah, exactly.
What's a silly interference call?
Yeah. Biggest mistake ever, wasn't it?
and bigger to come.
Yeah, I mean, yes, humbling and amazing in equal measure, but we're going to sort of fast forward really in terms of looking at where surfing is generally. We've had the surfing, we've had surfing featuring in the Olympics already. It's in 2024, France 2024. Obviously, the big hope is that Paralympics will embrace surfing. The Paralympics will embrace surfing. Are you optimistic that will be the case for the next?
Definitely, I think so. So how I started competing was I got with Sarah and I saw the 2015 competition happening in California. And I was like, how do I get into that? And then I heard, well, I couldn't get into that one, it was too late kind of thing, and I needed federation help, and I was only a surf bum in Absor, so I had no idea, no connections, nothing. And then I saw Olympics was going to the 2020, so I was like, oh my god, this is going to be a thing. Because I thought Olympics and Paralympics were the same thing.
I did too. Yeah. And it was one of the first things I thought as well. Yeah. As soon as I remember thinking immediately, there's a Welshman that can get in to the Paralympics. And then when I found out that it wasn't necessarily tied to each other,
2020 surfing was going in. I was like, I thought Paralympics would just follow suit, do the same thing, but it didn't happen. So I posted on Facebook. Well, I was sat on the sofa and I told Sarah one. So she was telling me how to write it. So she was making her own note kind of thing, and I was writing my own. And I was like doing my own words. I was like typing, and then she stopped talking, and I was like, I haven't finished mine yet. Carry on talking. I wasn't even using her words. I was just like listening to her, and I was like going for it. And then she stopped. I was like, oh damn, can't do this. Then she carried on. I posted it, and then within 2 weeks, Ben from Surfability found the post. Had a meeting with Hugh, the Welsh Surfing Federation, and I was flying out to California to represent Wales. Within like 2-3 weeks of posting on Facebook, I was going out to represent Wales in the 2016 ISA World Champions.
Wow!
So we're like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
So
I mean, with the growth of adaptive surfing, of parasurfing, you'd imagine that it's just a matter of time before parasurfing is part of the Paralympics.
Yeah.
What do you think needs to happen between now and then that happening? What things need to
exactly
change?
What is happening, I think.
Yeah.
Because like this year we've got the World Tour, the AASP World Tour, and then we've got the Parasurfing League that Dana Cummins is running. And all these events around the world that we're doing, that there's classifiers, new people are coming in from countries, well, different countries that have different people coming in, getting classified, and the number is growing. So I think they've got like 480 disabled competitors registered now. So it's like, to show what we're doing now with all these competitions, I think it's there to show the Paralympic Committee there is a structure happening already. So I got told it's between surfing and climbing. So
that's a no-brainer.
Surely.
It's in LA.
Yeah.
Because I can't. It's in LA. If it was in Colorado or something, it'd be more favourable for climbing maybe.
Yeah.
But it's in LA for 2028. So
it's a question of momentum,
looking good.
isn't it? I think of just keeping that going.
Everything's looking good. So hopefully we get in there. And then it'll be Team GB then for the Paralympics.
Wow.
Man.
And what a journey.
And if we do get parasurfing in the Paralympics, surely it's not beyond the realms of
do we want to jinx it? Pressure.
There's a certain Welshman who might
I know what
do
you're daring to say
fairly well.
I'll do my
without
best.
putting any pressure on anything like that.
I love it. Steve You're a proper journalist there. Push it in. It's your job to ask the questions.
No.
Anything at all.
Yeah.
No,
well, all I can do is try my best.
And the athlete chooses to answer it. I love it.
Competition's getting tougher every year. So, yeah, these people, like around the world, they're training.
Yeah.
They want it as much as I want it. So, yeah, every year competition's getting tougher and tougher. So,
Yeah.
it's super fun. We're super friendly. But, like, again, in the water, it's like...
You had a real ding-dong in the final in Costa Rica in Boca Branca this year, didn't you?
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Gets it about that one. I had a 9, and then my next paper was a 10. I was like, oh my god, it was a perfect fucking heat.
Yeah.
But yeah, the final, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is what it is.
I love how much, though, I can see it at the fire now. You're like,
Yeah.
right, well, you know, you
It's like losing the 2021 World Championship, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you've got to go back. Got to go back to Costa Rica next year.
And you guys at the Welsh Surfing Federation are stoked with the Royal Wales has played, and you know, as a stop.
100%, yeah. It's amazing to see. You know, we've got the current para surf world champion flying the flag of Wales.
Yeah.
We're seeing the Red Dragon across the social media platforms, on television, and it means the world. So how significant is it for you to be the one to be flying that flag, and what does it mean, in your opinion, to Welsh surfing?
It's a huge honour to carry my flag around the world and go into these competitions. Like, it's just best flag, innit? You know what I mean?
It is the best flag. It absolutely is.
Everyone else got crosses or lines or something like that. We've got a dragon. Like, come on.
100%.
Wales as a stop on the world tour as well.
Yeah.
I just love that. You
Yeah.
know, there's the world tour. We got Hawaii, Costa Rica, South Africa, Wales,
Yeah.
France.
So there's two circuits this year. So there's a world tour,
Yeah.
the ASAP World Tour, which is Hawaii, Costa Rica, and California, and then the Parasurfing League is where was the first one? South Africa, Costa Rica, Spain, Wales, France. They had one in the US. I think there was one in Puerto Rico as well. So yeah, I think there's like 8 stops in the league and 3 stops in the World Tour. So
And is Wales a stop
on the
because
league,
because of you?
yeah.
Yeah.
So the way in 2019, I think the first one was, I went to the US Open, and I just registration desk. I put an A4 piece of paper because the wave pool in Snowdonia open. Went, who would come to Wales for a wave pool comp? End of the day, I went back. I had 40 names, and I was like,
Let's do it.
you've got to make this happen now.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just asking a few people, found a sponsor with Abersoch Land and Sea back then. They helped different charities out every year, so yeah, they sponsored the event, made it happen. They had 22 competitors, I think, back then, and then COVID hit, which kind of stopped everything, didn't it really? And then I put out status out there, is anyone interested in doing this? And then the Mailer Room saw it and they wanted to fund it, and also they're sponsoring me and Sarah to continuing what we're doing and helping out with organising disability surf days in North Wales and taking more people in, and yeah, super good.
Let's talk about relationships, because you've mentioned Sarah a lot.
Yeah.
I tried my best to see if we could tune her to sit down with us, but she's you know, stepping back and letting it be all about you. But it is massively about Sarah as well, isn't it? So Sarah Gibbons, right by your side the whole time.
Yeah.
And also, sorry, it's a bit odd that I'm asking about the two of them side by side here, but you know, just the idea of relationships and having good people around you.
Yeah.
You work really closely with Johnny Purton on equipment.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Just talk to me a little bit about relationships. You know, as much as you're comfortable talking about
Yeah,
Sarah. And then,
so
you know,
Sarah's.
let's go Sarah first.
Sarah's a rock. So she got me to post on Facebook about what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
We got to do what we didn't do. She could get time off work. The bank supported her to come follow me in competitions. She carries my surfboard in every airport. 2 surfboards. She's small. Like, she was carrying my surfboard, suitcases, rucksack, running through airports and stuff. And I'm like, what a trooper. You know what I mean? And then yeah, she's the best cheerleader you can ask for on the beach. Everyone's like, this woman's crazy. She's there with a whistle, flashing around like ooh, flag and everything.
She'll call foul if she thinks something's not good as well.
Is she here? Is she?
No, as in like in a heat, you know, if she sees she sees a score or an interference call or something, she'll say what she thinks.
She'll call out. She'll argue with whoever she needs to argue just to get the point through. But yeah, I've been surfing like small waves in the world once, and I was catching waves. It was only small, so I'd have to hop back out, and she's there on the shore about 5 meters away. She's going, "Get back out there, go on!" And I'm shouting back at her like, "Fucking go in, go on, I'm hopping out. Can't go any quicker." So yeah, she's huge support. And when I go surfing with friends at home, I come in, I had fun surf. Every surf is fun. And I'm like, "That was so good," and she was like, "No, that was terrible. Like, go back out." And I'm like, "Oh no, it's getting dark." And she's like, she'll tell me if I'm doing good, she'll tell me I'm not, she'll video it, she'll tell me like, "Look." And she had no idea about surfing before any of this. And she's been to all events and seen the judging criteria and stuff like that.
Her
like,
knowledge of surfing and how it works is...
She tries to give me hints or tips, and I'm like, "Well, I'm the surfer."
She'll start her own coaching business after this.
Yeah, well, I tried to get her to do the judging courses and stuff.
Yeah.
But she's like, "Nah, I've got too much stress anyway, dealing with me."
Tunnel vision.
And it was like, my nerves and stuff before comp, I'm like, having a nightmare. So,
And we mentioned Johnny Purton
yeah.
and equipment, because I know you've been coming down to South Wales a bit to check in with him. That's been
So it's a really recent thing with him. He's told me years ago that he's happy to work with me and make boards, but it's so far away for me to come from North Wales to South Wales. It's like, oh no. So I had that 1984 board. I had a blank in my shed from when I had 2 legs as a Christmas present, and it was just stayed there. Been in the rain, got wet, got cold, got hot, and then there was a local Canadian, well, not local, it was a Canadian shaper, Love Stick. That's his board name. He was in Costa Rica for a bit, lives in Wales, and he was like, "I can shape you this if you want." I was like, I took him the 1984 board and the blank, and I was like, "Can you do this?" And he was like, "Well, I'm not a robot, it's not going to be exactly the same, but I can do something similar." So I was there with him shaping the board, and I was like, "Oh, this is sick." I've never seen a board being shaped before, so watched that, and then I got on the red board that he made me, and I was like, my surfing improved more, and I was like, "Oh, this is sick." And then that board, because the foam was so old, and it felt, when I was doing the turns, the board was bending underneath me, so it was like, ooh, kind of like flimsy.
Right.
And then I talked to JP, and he was like, "Yeah, come down." He made me another board with a different tail, what I think I needed, kind of thing, more into more of a surfboard shape kind of board. And I was like, not a fan on like the swallow tail kind of thing, because on my board I got the square tail.
Yeah. Is it a hard square as well on your boards, or is it?
No, it's like a
rounded, kind of rounded squash, right?
Yeah, and it works really good. So we had a swallow tail, and it wouldn't hold my turns.
Okay.
So I do like quick ones, but to do the long, big top turns kind of thing, I lose the power. So I was like, right, I need another one. So I just messaged him when I was away somewhere in a competition, and I messaged him, "Can you build me?" Because he had the measurements of the red board. It's like, "Can you build me that?" Because I'd rather take your board than an old board kind of thing, just to represent it as a sponsor. You're like, "Oh, it'd be better for me to use 2 of your boards instead of using another board." So yeah, he made me this one, and then we had that massive swell last week, and I was like, "This is amazing." And it was like the power and the sharpness of the turns I can get in it was just unreal.
And fin placement as well. You tend to use the fins a little bit kind of, I've seen drawn back in the centre fin, and then the other ones are slightly further forward, or have you not sort of talked to JP so much about that
I've just got twinnies, because I was on standard surfboards for so long.
Yeah.
I tried the new boards, which on the new boards the fins are way further up.
Yeah.
And because I surf more,
so you brought them further down.
I surf more on the tail.
Yeah.
So I haven't really moved the fin placement.
Yeah.
So I tried kneeboard, and because I surf on the tail, it just slid.
Okay.
Like the fins didn't do anything. So I was like, okay, so stick the fins where it would be on a surfboard, because I tend to I tend to sit more on my foot.
Yeah.
Than anything else, and then when I go forward, I push on my knee.
So yeah, we've got to be. Yeah. So that engagement. Yeah, that's really.
It's mad.
So again, like, it's going to be something that Johnny hasn't probably thought about.
No. So it's all learning. He's watched all my videos that Sarah's taken again. She's like, "I've watched all your videos. I know how you surf. I kind of know what you want." So yeah, it's again learning. We're all learning kind of thing. But like the fractions of moving the fins can change the whole board.
Yeah.
You can be paddling one board and the fins could be wrong, and you'd be like, "Oh, this doesn't feel right." And then you move them like an inch back, and it's like solid.
Who else have been, important people in bringing you on this journey so far?
Oh, what a question.
It doesn't, if it is Sarah,
So it's Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah and me, and Dad let me have the time off work, and he was like, "Yeah, you go do what you want to do."
Yeah.
And he was like, "If you don't do good, don't come home." And I'm like, "Well, if I don't come home, I'm in a hot country with waves anyway." So it's like,
Win.
Yeah.
And that's the board you were just discussing was the setup you were using here at the Wave today.
Yeah. So I used my red board in the heat today. And I went for a free surf and tried the other one. Tried the new JP board, and I'm like, getting used to it. It's like I've only had 4 surfs on it.
Yeah.
And 2 of them were when it was pumping. So yeah, it's getting used to something new.
Nice one. Yeah. And obviously the fact that this is the Welsh Parasurf Championships is a slightly small glaring detail of the fact we're over the border for the first time in England, in Bristol.
Yeah.
So how does the wave setup compare? Obviously we've got the temporary unavailability of the facility up in Snowdonia. So how are you finding the wave setup, the environment setup here at Bristol?
Because we've had the English Championship here a few times, so we kind of knew how it was going to roll, and
Sure.
normally the judges would be on the pier, but then we moved the live feed up to the top of the balcony, and I stood up there and I talked to Tim, and I was like, "Can you put the judges up here? Because you can see the whole wave
It's great
instead of half the pier." I think it's way better setup.
Yeah.
And to get my sponsors flagging up there and having the Welsh flags over the border in England, it's like, yes, this is good. It's like we're expanding of it. So, it's good, but it was a really stressful thing to do, because Snowdonia, we had it lined up, we knew what we were doing, judges knew what we were doing, live feed knew where the camera was going, we had the food, the highlights, the venue after the after party kind of thing. But then they broke down, so I was like, okay, either cancel it and upset the people that came internationally and booked flights, and they'll be like, "Oh, we booked flights already, and why is there no competition?" So I was like, instead of having that, I was like, we need to move to Bristol, and it's cost me like double to run it here, but it happened. First day went amazing.
It went real well.
So
Yeah.
everyone was super happy leaving. So can't complain.
And I guess another testament to your resilience is that you organise these events. You're the person who puts them together. So how do you balance that? Obviously, your need to train and to stay focused on
To work
winning
and to compete
and putting everything together. It's
it's
got
hard.
lots of plates to spin.
It's hard because I wake up 7:30, go to work for 8 every morning until 5. Then I've got to do emails, and then I've got to think about my surfing, and then I've got to go away to surf competitions. So I like to try and manage it all. It's mental,
Write
but
the theme
it's like,
tune, sing the theme tune.
it's crazy.
A lot. Today was day 1. Very huge, successful day. It was great. Loads of great competition across the board. How did you feel the day went for yourself as
So
organiser?
this morning we had 10 till 12 free surf time kind of thing. So again, it was working with where the life view was going. Tim has been amazing, so he worked out. I told
Timmy
him,
Aylett.
yeah, Tim Ayler, yeah. So I told him, he was like, "Right, are you happy to do this?" He was like, yeah. And we had to move it to the wave. I was like, okay. So I gave him the list of athletes, and then we found out how many waves we get in an hour, how many waves we can miss, and all this. And he said he's had sleepless night for like 2 weeks trying to focus on this. And then of course he judged in Boardmasters last weekend. So he messaged me like, I can't do anything until Tuesday. So literally between Tuesday and Friday and today, he's just been drilled on it, and he was like, right, we could do this. And I was like, oh, something's got to change. And then we talked to Grace from Surfability. She had to, so the assist, there's a limit of people you can have in the pool. So the people with this that need assist, they have a pusher and catcher. So that's a massive amount of support where you can't put the people in surfing. So Grace was working all that out, Tim was working all this out, and then Grace was like, no, you can't do that. That will not work. And then Tim was like, oh God, what
Back to the
drawing
drawing
board.
board.
Back to drawing board. And they worked together really well and figured it all out. And today was amazing. And then again, Sarah there telling everyone what colour to wear, what time you're in. Because everyone was like, what time are we in? You know, we can't give you a time because
We don't know how long.
we've only got 6 hours a day to run the comp. So it's like, they're going to get 5 waves, and then you go in and get 5 waves. So, but it worked really well, everyone's happy, and yeah, so stress is gone, kind of, until tomorrow morning.
I guess for people who may not be as familiar to surfing environments, you're organising a surf tournament in a wave pool.
Yeah.
How different is that in terms of the logistics challenges from organising a surfing competition in the sea?
Well, that's something you can tell me, because I've never done one of this.
Right, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, it's just, well, like I was talking to Jose from California, he came over and he was like, are you good? And he was like, we have waves.
Sure.
And we've flown to some countries for competitions before,
there's no waves.
and there's no waves.
Yeah.
So at least we're guaranteed waves in a wave pool.
Mm.
If it was raining, we still have waves. They're going to be clean because it's sheltered. So yeah, it works good in a wave pool, but you don't get the same feeling as you would in the ocean.
From what I've seen, I reckon it looks like it's more complicated. Apart from the fact that you know you're not going to call the event off and it's going to run.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
but
it has to run.
figuring out how to like use the slots correctly.
Yeah.
I think to me it looks like it's quite difficult indeed.
Both are fairly challenging, I'd imagine.
Yeah, getting everything lined up and everyone to work together, kind of thing, and then have to move it to the wave. And they had team members for every single thing. And so it was like email loops. I don't even get email loops. It's like you email one person and then they add someone else, and then they reply. And it, like
I've
everything
seen
just gets mixed up.
You need a degree
They
to
are-
understand
they were all
those
doing
things.
those.
I swear.
I'm like scrolling, I'm like, this, what's going on? People talking to each other, and then
They
you
were
get your
doing it
reply. It
in-
doesn't make sense.
They were doing it in Cornwall last week, and I couldn't do it. I was asking the young people what to do.
Yeah.
Which these are the things that make me feel old. And of course, you've got to like pull your finger out now then and work out to do a proper 360 tomorrow. Then,
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And then if you do, well, you're in the lead. You're top of the leaderboard anyway.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
You know what? We're open to
Got to
defend.
do 2 tomorrow, aren't
Is that the plan?
I? Yeah, got to do 2 on that.
I'd like to see. I reckon trying to stick one of those things in on that end section as well when it kind of like shallows up.
Yeah, with that
as
little
well, yeah.
shallow section.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I shouldn't be. I shouldn't
kind
be like.
Kind of tricky.
Co-
It's going to be in my head now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Watch me roof.
Well, you're on the leaderboard, aren't you? And there's
Yeah,
5 waves to go, and at the moment you're top of the leaderboard. So in a way, you've got to find something.
Yeah, just
Was
that
it
one.
7.83? And I'm trying to think what waves you've got to throw.
7.5, I think.
7.5. So anything less than 7.5 is no use to you.
No. And the thing is, every wave's the same. So it's not like in the ocean you can sit there for 20 minutes and wait
Yeah.
for that wave. You can
Sure.
think that's got the potential to be that 7.5. Where here, every wave's the same. So it doesn't matter what wave you go for.
Takes the strategy out of it a
Yeah,
little, maybe.
you just got to
Go for it.
do better than 7.5 on that wave.
So you're going to defend this title,
Yeah,
and then
not going to try.
the world title,
Yeah, well, we go to
and it's
after this in 2 days we go to we fly to
France
France
first,
and then we drive down to the Pantin Classic in Pantin in
Galicia.
Spain, and then from that we drive 1 day event there and then back to Anglet for the French PSL event,
right.
and that's then the European tour done. So it's had Spain, Wales, France.
Yeah.
It's the European leg, and then we fly back to Manchester for a night, and then we fly out to California for the final World Tour stop.
And it's Huntington Beach this time.
No, this is going to be Oceanside. So
is it
this is the World
Oceanside?
Tour, yeah. So the World Tour's moved to Huntington in November.
Okay.
So yeah, this is the final stop in the World Tour. So I've won Hawaii, and Mono's won Costa Rica.
Yeah.
So this is the final. So all I need to do is place higher than him,
Than him.
and I've got the title.
And not getting interference.
Yeah, and then we get invited. If I win, we get invited to the Waco wave pool in October.
Oh wow, in Texas.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I was like, that's another
Sub-goal
push, innit?
number one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. The one other thing I wanted to ask you about is the clothing label as well that you're doing, the hop along clothing.
Uh-huh.
That is also it's got to be taken up some of your time too.
Yeah, it makes sense. So this year I've been busy with everything else, but I'm pushing it. But next year I'll have more time to do it. So yeah, it's a brand I've started to be able to help people with disabilities to try and So the bigger the brand gets, the more help people with disability will get to go to these events and do it, because it's really hard. Like, I know a lot of disabled surfers and like, we can't get the funding to go there. I'm lucky I got a sponsor from the mailing room to be able to do this, and Sarah got another sponsor, which is Spencer Hunt, for us. So yeah, with that and the time we can get off this year, because Sarah took the year off, it's like we're building something. Well, I have no idea. You have no idea what the future holds here. So I'm taking every day like, okay, we've got to do this. So
And where and how can we support the merchandise at Hop Along Clothing?
I've got an Instagram page, Hop Along Clothing, and a website. So yeah, if you can go on there and buy some stuff, that'll be mint.
And the website's off via the Instagram page. Is a link on there? Or link, what's the word for it, Steve? Linktree, is it, or whatever? I don't know.
There is a digital phenomenon known as Linktree. Yes,
okay.
I think it's a right. Feeling the pressure. It's a place where you can view a list of your social media platforms. So you've got Instagram, LinkedIn.
I've used totally the wrong
Twitter,
terminology there.
X rather, not Twitter anymore.
Right.
Facebook, etc. So it's a list of where you appear on your social media presence.
Didn't even know about that.
Oh, I thought that was how you buy the clothing then. So you just buy the clothing through. What was it called? Like
hopalongclothing.com.
.co.uk.
We need to investigate. I think.
It'll show us. I'm going to be investigating.
So there's a platform. You got all your pages.
Whether it's a platform or a tool or a function, I'm not sure what the
You've talked yourself into a bit of work here.
Whatever it is, I'm going to go away and revise on it all, and give the perfect answer in the next interview.
So
but hopalongclothing.com is the
.co.uk.
Beg your pardon, is the primary target.
Well, look,
Cool.
I can't thank you enough for your time tonight.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to try to thank you enough, but I can't. So I'm just going to say thank you. Diolch yn fawr. It's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you, and I really hope to be catching up with you again down the line to learn of what's. I don't know how easily one can go on to bigger and better things when you're the first ever
2028 now.
Welsh surfing
next
champion.
The Paralympics next.
Well, just goodbye to y'all.
Bring the gold to the next interview, and we'll chat about that.
How heavy do you reckon the medal is?
And will you put it in your teeth? Oh, are we getting away? We're getting ahead of ourselves here now, aren't we? We're getting ahead of ourselves. I tell you what, though, we had Yolanda Hopkins on in the last episode, and it is sick when she walks in and she sits there and you see the Olympic rings tattooed on her.
Boom.
And you do think like, you see like, the Iron Man tattoo or something, like a few times. Please, no offence now if anyone listening has got an Iron Man tattoo, but I've heard irreverent comments about the Iron Man tattoo. Like, oh, bloody Iron Man tattoo, and I've always said like, I don't know. I think if I completed an Iron Man, maybe the Olympic tattoo.
The Olympic one.
It's a big statement to walk in and lay that on the table before we start.
No one's taking that away from you.
Exactly.
Hey, look, you're surfing tomorrow. Let's let you get yourself ready. Just diolch, and a ffordd look.
No, thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Over the next event. Gweld ti yn y bore. And diolch am gwrando pawb, and hwyl naw.
Diolch yn fawr.
And diolch i ti hefyd, Steve. Thanks to you too.
Croeso. It's been great to catch up with you, Sponge.
Flying the flag.
Yeah, exactly.
World champion.
the beer.
That was good.
Mate, that was amazing.
That was fantastic.
That was epic.
I've never done a podcast before.
That was epic.
I was moved.
Mate, that was
I was taken.